Welcome back to our channel.
Hi everyone, I am Lisa.
And I am Eric. Whether you're learning English as a second language or just brushing up on your grammar, we're here to simplify everything for you.
Let's dive into today's topic and make English simple. What are the words today, Eric?
The first word today is generous. Then we will continue with odd and run out of something. Then miss the boat. And the final one is keep track of something.
They seem very useful words, Eric.
Yes, Lisa, they are very common in spoken English.
Okay, then let's start with the first word, Eric.
The first word is generous.
Generous.
Generous. Generous describes someone who is happy to give more of something, like money, time, or effort than is usual or expected. It's often connected with kindness and a willingness to help others.
Additionally, it is an adjective, and generosity is its noun form.
Absolutely, Lisa. There are lots of different ways to show that you are generous when you give things. Let's review some examples to explain better.
Here's a simple one. My grandmother is very generous. She always cooks extra food for visitors.
Another example is, Paul was generous with his time, helping us understand our homework.
These examples show that being generous can be anything, from sharing food to spending time helping others.
Yes, and it's worth noting that generous is an adjective. It sometimes comes before the noun to describe it. For instance, generous person, generous help, or generous donation. Or without a noun, he is very generous.
Let's use generous in a dialogue. This time our characters are Sarah and Linda, two friends at a cafe.
Linda, you always tip so generously. That's really nice of you.
Oh, I think it's important to be generous to service staff. They work hard, and a little extra can help them a lot.
You're right. It's a generous act that can make someone's day better. I should start doing that too.
This dialogue shows how simple acts of generosity can influence others. Lisa, what do you think about Linda's actions?
I think it's wonderful. Being generous, like Linda, helps others and sets a positive example. Eric, can you remember when someone's generosity impacted you?
Definitely. Once, a stranger paid for my coffee when I was short on cash. It wasn't much, but it was very generous and made my day.
That's a beautiful gesture. It shows that being generous, even a little, can have a big impact. How do you try to be generous in your daily life, Eric?
I try to be generous with my knowledge, especially when helping young colleagues at work. What about you, Lisa?
I like to be generous with my time and volunteer when I can. It feels good to give back.
It's clear that being generous is about more than just giving money. It's about making a difference in whatever way we can.
Exactly. We hope today's first word you to be a little more generous daily. And don't forget to be kind and generous.
Thank you for these kind words, Lisa. Let's move on to our next word. The next word is odd.
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 Odd is an adjective. It means something that is not usual or common. It can also mean something that is strange. It is easy to remember because odd things are often strange.
That's right, Lisa. We can give two examples. Here's the first one. She has an odd way of laughing that always makes us smile. This means her way of laughing is unusual, but memorable and pleasant.
Here's another one. Seeing the town so quiet on a Monday morning is really odd. This means it's unusual because towns are typically busy on Monday mornings.
Let's also note that odd can be used with numbers. When we talk about numbers, odd means numbers like 1, 3, 5, and so on. They are not exactly divisible by 2.
That's a useful tip, Eric. Now let's move on to our sample dialogue. Imagine two friends, Tom and Sarah, are at a flea market.
Look at this old clock, Sarah. It's quite odd, isn't it?
Yes, it has an odd shape. I've never seen one like this before. Where did you find it?
Over there, by that odd-looking stall with all the vintage signs. It's so different and interesting.
Maybe I should look for something odd and interesting to buy as well.
What a great use of our word. Tom and Sarah found something odd and interesting. Lisa, what do you think about finding odd things at a market?
I think it's exciting, Eric. Odd items can be unique treasures. Have you ever bought something odd, Eric?
Yes, once I bought an odd-shaped lamp that turned out to be a conversation starter at my house. Everyone started to talk about the lamp.
It sounds like odd things can add some fun and personality to our lives.
Definitely, Lisa. It's always interesting to see that strange things can unexpectedly fit into our daily lives.
Remember, something odd can be strange, but also wonderful. Keep your eyes open for odd things around you. And that's all about the word odd for today.
Okay, the next word is run out of something.
Run out of something?
Run out of something.
Great choice, Eric. When we say we run out of something, it means we have used all of it and there is no more. We often use this phrase in daily conversation.
It's particularly useful when you're talking about things you need to buy or replace. Now let's look at some examples.
The first example is, I ran out of sugar, so I can't make a cake until I go to the store.
And the second one is, we're running out of time to finish this project. We need to hurry. Notice that it's important to know that run out of is a phrasal verb, and it's always used with a noun. You can't use it alone.
Let's see this phrasal verb in action. In our dialogue, Tom and Jerry are at a camping site.
I think we've run out of water. Did you bring extra bottles?
No, I thought you brought them. We really ran out of luck this time, didn't we?
Yeah, let's check with our camp neighbors and see if they have some to spare.
That was a good use of run out of in a practical situation. Now, what do you think about that scenario, Lisa?
It's interesting because it shows how important it is to plan ahead. Running out of water during camping can be a big problem.
Absolutely. It's all about being prepared. Have you ever run out of something important unexpectedly, Lisa?
Yes, once. I ran out of gas on a lonely road. It was a bit scary, but a kind person helped me out. What about you, Eric?
I've run out of battery on my phone at crucial times, which makes me think about carrying a power bank more often.
Those are both situations where run out of something affected our day.
Definitely, Lisa. It shows how this phrasal verb can be used in many different life situations.
True, and that's all for run out of something. Remember to keep stocked up on your essentials and plan ahead to avoid running out. Okay, let's move on to our next word, Eric.
The next word is miss the boat.
Miss the boat.
Miss the boat?
Oh, that's an interesting phrase.
It means losing an opportunity or taking advantage of something too late. It's often used when someone doesn't do something quickly enough.
And it doesn't have to do with actual boats, does it?
Exactly, Lisa. It's just a figure of speech. Let's give some examples. Here's the first one. I wanted to buy tickets for the concert, but I waited too long and missed the boat.
And here's the second. If you don't apply for the job by tomorrow, you'll miss the boat.
Great examples, Lisa. Now, let's go to our sample dialogue. Imagine two friends, Tom and Mia, in a cafe.
Mia, did you hear about the art competition? The winner's art will be shown in the city hall.
Really? I'd love to enter. When's the deadline?
It was yesterday. We've missed the boat on this one.
Oh no, that was such a good opportunity. I always miss the boat on things like this.
That's a good dialogue showing how someone can miss the boat for an opportunity.
Yes, it shows. It might be important to act quickly sometimes. Eric, have you ever missed the boat on something important?
Unfortunately, yes. I once had a chance to go on a trip with friends, but I waited too long to decide, and then it was too late.
That has happened to me as well. I've missed opportunities because I wasn't quick enough to decide. It taught me to be more decisive and fast.
It's a good lesson for all of us. Don't wait too long, or you might miss the boat for great opportunities.
Well said, Eric. And remember, don't miss the boat for learning and trying new things. Okay, I hope we have explained miss the boat fairly enough. Let's move on to our last word, Eric.
The last word today is keep track of something.
Keep track of something.
Keep track of something. That's a useful phrase. Keep track of something means to make sure you know where something is, or how it is changing over time. It's often used when talking about managing or monitoring things.
Let's give some examples, Eric.
Certainly. For example, I keep track of my expenses to manage my budget better.
Or, he finds it hard to keep track of all the emails he receives at work.
It sounds like it helps to be organized.
Exactly, Eric. Keeping track of things helps you stay organized and informed.
Those were clear examples. Let's look at a dialogue where this phrase is used. Imagine two friends, Tom and Sarah, discussing a school project.
Have you been able to keep track of all the assignments we need to finish?
I try, but sometimes I miss one or two. How do you keep track of everything?
I use a planner. It really helps me organize and keep track of all my tasks.
That sounds like a good idea. Maybe I should start using one too.
That was a practical use of keep track of something. Now, Eric, how often do you find yourself using this phrase?
Quite often, especially when dealing with a lot of tasks at work. It's very important. Lisa, do you think keeping track of tasks helps you in your daily life?
Absolutely, Eric. It helps me stay organized and efficient. I use apps on my phone to keep track of my appointments and deadlines.
Technology can be a great way to keep track of things. It's important for our listeners to find a method that works well for them, whether it's digital or traditional.
Definitely. Whether you use a notebook or an app, keeping track of your activities can reduce stress and increase your productivity. Eric, any final tips on how to effectively keep track of things?
Actually, yes, it does make a big difference to take a few minutes every day to update your planner or list. And remember, it's okay to ask for help if you're struggling to keep track of everything.
Great advice. Okay, listeners, that's all for today's words.
Thanks for tuning in to Simply Explained English. We hope you found today's episode helpful and easy to understand.
Remember, we're here to make English simple for you, one word at a time.
Don't forget to subscribe to learn more English words. Join us next time as we explore more useful English phrases.
Have a great day and keep learning.
Bye-bye.
Hello, everyone.
If you're looking to boost your English in a fun and easy way, you're in the right place. I'm Eric.
And I'm Lisa. Every episode, we break down English words and phrases, making them simple to understand and use in daily conversations.
So grab a snack, sit back, and let's dive into today's topic.
Okay, Eric, will you tell us today's words?
The first word today is talented. Then we will continue with easygoing and to increase. Then to run into someone or something. And the final one is from scratch.
So seems that 2 adjectives, 1 verb, 1 phrasal verb, and 1 idiom. Right, Eric?
That's right, Lisa. So let's start with the first word. The first word today is talented.
Talented.
Talented. Talented is an adjective we use to describe someone who has a special ability to do something well. It's often used to talk about skills in music, art, sports, or other activities.
So, for example, we can say, my sister is very talented at drawing. She makes beautiful artwork.
Another example could be, the talented musician played the piano so well, everyone was amazed.
Good examples. Let's move on to a sample dialogue. Imagine 2 friends, Mia and Leo, talking about their school talent show.
Did you see Kevin's magic show at the talent show? He's really talented.
Yes, he was incredible. I didn't know he had such talent for magic.
And how about Sarah's singing? Her voice is so beautiful. She is very talented too.
Definitely. Our school is full of talented students. It makes the talent show exciting every year.
That dialogue shows how the word talented can be used to describe people with skills or abilities.
Absolutely, Lisa. It's great to know the talents of the people around us. Do you have a talent you're proud of, Lisa?
Well, I'm quite talented at baking. I love trying new recipes. How about you, Eric?
I'm talented at learning languages. I enjoy picking up phrases from different languages and practicing them.
That's impressive. You can be talented in many ways, and sharing your talents with others is great.
Yes, and it's important to remember that everyone is talented in their own way. It's all about finding what you're good at.
Great thoughts, Eric. Now, listeners, think about what talents you have or like in others. Remember, everyone is talented in their own way.
I couldn't agree more, Lisa. Well, I think that covers everything for the word talented.
Yes, it does. Now let's move on to our next word and see what other interesting vocabulary we can explore together.
Okay, Lisa, the next word is easygoing.
Easygoing?
Easygoing.
Oh, that's a good one. Easygoing describes someone who is very relaxed and not easily upset or worried. It's like saying someone is very calm in different situations.
That's right, Lisa. This is an adjective as well. And as you said, it means someone who is relaxed and not easily upset.
Here are 2 example sentences. My teacher is very easygoing, so we are never afraid to ask questions. And another one. Paul is so easygoing. He didn't mind when we had to change our plans at the last minute.
Good examples, Lisa. Easygoing is an adjective and is often used to describe a person's character or attitude.
Now let's have a sample dialogue to show how easygoing can be used in conversation. Mike and Sarah are having a chat.
Hey Sarah, how was your trip with your new roommate?
It was great. She's so easygoing, which made it very easy to travel together.
That's wonderful. I was worried that you might have some problems during the trip.
Not at all. Her easygoing nature really helped us both relax and enjoy the vacation.
That dialogue shows how an easygoing person can be good for relationships and shared experiences.
Absolutely, Eric. It's nice how being easygoing helps in social situations. Have you ever had a time when being easygoing was helpful for you?
Oh, definitely. When traveling with friends, I try to be easygoing about the schedule. It makes travel less stressful for everyone.
I agree. Being easygoing is very helpful to keep everyone calm, especially when things don't go as planned. It's a very good personality to have. By the way, Eric, would you consider yourself an easygoing person?
I try to be. I think being easygoing helps me manage stress and adapt to new situations more easily. What about you, Lisa?
I think I'm relatively easygoing. I worry or feel stressed sometimes, but I'm trying to calm down and not worry about the little things.
That's a great goal. Having an easygoing personality can improve all relationships.
I couldn't agree more. Well, that covers the word easygoing quite well. Let's move on to the next word. What's the next word, Eric?
The next word is to increase.
To increase.
To increase. This is a verb that means to become larger or greater in size, amount, number, or degree. We use it a lot when talking about amounts.
That's a useful word, especially in everyday situations. For example, you can say, the gas price seems to increase every month. Another sentence could be, I need to increase my exercise routine to stay healthy.
Those are perfect examples, Lisa. Also, it's good to know that increase can be used both as a verb and as a noun. As a verb, you might say, we need to increase our efforts. As a noun, you might hear, there was a big increase in temperature today.
Great point, Eric. Now, let's try a sample dialogue with to increase. Let's imagine 2 co-workers, Sarah and Mike, talking about work.
Have you noticed the increase in customer calls this month?
Yes, I have. We need to increase our team size to handle all these extra calls.
I agree. An increase in team members would definitely help manage the operations better.
Absolutely. Plus, increasing our service quality is key to improving customer satisfaction.
I liked how they used both the verb and noun forms of increase in their conversation. This really shows that the word can be used in different situations.
Yes, it does. Can you think of a time when you had to increase something in your personal life?
Sure. I recently had to increase the amount of time I spend on my hobbies. It really helps me relax. What about you, Eric? Any recent increases?
Actually, yes. I had to increase the budget to remodel my house. Things got more expensive than I planned.
That sounds challenging, but necessary.
It is. We hope our listeners found today's discussion on the word to increase informative and helpful.
I hope so, Eric. And they can also increase their vocabulary with our podcast. Okay, let's move on to our next word.
The next word is run into somebody or something.
Run into somebody or something.
Run into somebody or something. This phrase is a phrasal verb. It means to meet someone or a problem by chance. For instance, you can say, I ran into my teacher at the mall yesterday. It means you met her unexpectedly. Another example is, we ran into traffic on our way to the concert, which means we encountered traffic unexpectedly.
Or, we ran into bad weather yesterday while we were returning home.
Good example, Lisa. Let's see how this works in a dialogue. Imagine a scenario where two friends, Bella and Zoe, are catching up over coffee.
You won't believe who I ran into yesterday at the grocery store.
Oh, who?
I ran into our old high school math teacher, Mrs. Thompson.
That's such a coincidence. I haven't seen her in years. Did you talk?
Yes, we chatted for a bit. She was buying ingredients for a pie.
That dialogue really shows how you can use run into somebody in everyday conversation. It's all about those unexpected meetings.
Have you ever run into a completely unexpected situation, Lisa?
Oh, all the time. Once, I ran into a parade on my way to an appointment. It was a nice surprise, but made me a bit late.
That must have been a fantastic show. I've run into a few rainstorms without an umbrella myself, which is never fun, but always memorable.
It shows that run into can be quite literal too, like running into bad weather. It's a useful word in many situations.
Definitely. I hope our listeners find this word useful. Try using run into somebody or something when discussing unexpected meetings or situations.
Yes, give it a try. Okay, let's have a look at our last word, Eric.
The last word is from scratch.
From scratch.
From scratch.
From scratch means doing something from the very beginning, using only the basic ingredients or parts, not using anything that has already been prepared.
Exactly, Lisa. It's like when you bake a cake from scratch. You don't use a pre-made mix. You start with flour, sugar, eggs, etc. For example, he built the whole model from scratch, no kits or ready-made parts.
Another sentence could be, I love cooking from scratch. It takes more time, but the food tastes better.
Those are great examples. Now, let's have a sample dialogue. Picture this. Two friends, Selena and David, discussing weekend plans.
I'm thinking of baking a pie from scratch this weekend. Want to help?
From scratch? Wow, that sounds like a project. I've never baked anything without a mix.
It's more fun, and you get to learn a lot. Plus, homemade from scratch always tastes better.
True. I guess it would be interesting to see how it's made from the beginning. I'm in.
That dialogue really shows how from scratch is used to describe making something from the most basic ingredients or starting point.
It does, Lisa. Have you ever started a big project from scratch?
Yes, I once started a vegetable garden from scratch. It was a lot of work, but watching everything grow in the garden was incredibly rewarding. What about you, Eric?
I've written computer programs from scratch. It was tough to start with a blank screen, but it's amazing to watch what you make improve.
It seems like starting from scratch can be used in many different areas of life, from cooking to coding. It's all about making something unique and personal.
Absolutely, Lisa. We hope our listeners all feel inspired to try making something from scratch. It can be a wonderful way to express yourself and learn new skills.
It's always rewarding to put in the effort and see the results of your hard work.
I couldn't agree more. Well, I think that wraps up our discussion on the idiom from scratch and our podcast.
Yes, Eric, we have reached the end of our podcast today.
That's all for today's episode of Simply Explained English. We hope you found it helpful and enjoyable.
Don't forget to study what you've learned today and always be curious about the words around you.
Be sure to join us next time for more insights and tips. Subscribe to our channel and please like our podcasts.
Thanks for listening and keep learning.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.